Year 1. So it begins. The canteen was packed full and sweltering. The perspiring cashier complained to a work colleague as the line of students purchasing food and beverages grew longer. "Air conditioning's broke again," she said tersely. Her face was red and her hands were slippery with sweat. Evelyn stood patiently, clutching her tea and cereal bar. She herself felt hot and flustered, her stomach was somersaulting, and she felt faintly nauseous. This morning, she had risen early to get ready for enrollment day. Ma'am had caught the earlier bus to the day centre, leaving Evelyn alone in the large house to prepare. In her leather handbag, she had her ID, along with her letter of confirmation, but she had no idea what to expect, or what the day would entail. "That'll be £4.10, please, love." The harassed cashier stuck out her hand with a weary smile. "Thank you," Evelyn replied quietly. She took her purchases and quickly scanned the room, looking for a free table. There was one left, wedged into the corner of the canteen. She walked quickly across to it, slid down onto the plastic seat, and sipped her hot tea. A speaker above her rumbled loud pop music. Evelyn winced, thinking, "What am I doing here?" At this moment, she felt like a fish out of water. She glanced at the doorway, tempted to up and run. "Be brave, Evelyn," she told herself. As a distraction, she looked around the canteen. At the table next to her sat a young couple, a striking Asian girl with long black silky hair that almost touched her waist. Next to her sat a handsome boy with messy hair. He had his arm wrapped around her, and she leant her head on his shoulders. Above the din of the music, she could hear their conversation. The girl seemed excited, talking animatedly, while the boy seemed more subdued. "Excuse me, is anyone sitting here?" Evelyn was startled by the voice and looked up in surprise. A lady stood at the side of her, clutching a folder and a cup of coffee. Evelyn could smell the aroma, bitter and strong, mingling with an overpowering perfume that clung around the woman. She coughed and shook her head. "No, no," she replied with a small smile. The woman sat opposite her, dumping her belongings on the table, and immediately began yakking on her mobile. Evelyn surreptitiously observed her. She had long honey blonde hair, super straight. It clung down her back, shiny and smooth. The woman repeatedly flicked it as she talked. Evelyn felt her own grey bob tingle with envy. "Are you a new student?" The question hung in the air. It took a while for Evelyn to realise that she had finished a call and was talking to her. "Oh, yes." She nodded in surprise. "What degree are you doing?" "English." There was a silent pause until Evelyn asked, "And you?" "English, too." The woman beamed, eyes sparkling. She stuck out her hand towards Evelyn's, who took it politely. "I'm Sophie. Sophie O'Neill." She paused for effect. "You might have heard of me." Evelyn thought for a moment, then shook her head. "No, sorry. I'm Evelyn Cook." The woman's pretty face became crestfallen, but she continued. "Just English?" "Yes." Evelyn nodded. "I was going to do combined art, but decided against it. I'm so excited. Are you?" She didn't wait for a reply. "I really didn't know what to wear today. I mean, when I was younger, students were a bit out there, all goths and hippies." She laughed loudly, causing the boy with the messy hair to look around. Evelyn smiled, feeling a little bemused. She hadn't given a thought to her attire this morning. She was more concerned about Ma'am. Just then, Sophie's phone rang shrilly, vibrating across the table. Sophie snatched out a hand. "That's for me again." Evelyn tried not to listen as she spoke to someone called Ryan. She sipped her tea, gazing around the heaving canteen. There were more people still flooding in. A tall man pushed a lady in a wheelchair through the open doors. She looked nervous too. "Yes, I'll be home this afternoon." Sophie's voice was raised as she ended the call. "Then," she tutted crossly, taking a gulp of coffee, "it's just my husband, worried about who is going to do tea." "Ah," Evelyn smiled. "Do you like football?" Evelyn was saved from answering by another question. "Hi, is anyone sitting here?" It was the tall man with the disabled lady. "No, no," she replied, grateful for their interruption. "Thanks." He smiled, pulled out a few of the chairs to make way for the lady in the wheelchair. Evelyn stood to help him. "Are you okay?" she asked kindly. The lady in the wheelchair frowned and looked annoyed. "Yes, I'm fine. Never better."